Welcome to another video where we are going through some tips and ideas that you can use in your practical assessment task or your PAT if you are an IT or information technology student. This is particularly for grade 12s, and grade 11s can probably use this as well. And this is particularly when you are busy with your phase 1 and you're about to get started with your phase 2 and you want to get data in your data files. Now, the two main data files that you're probably going to need to create, whether you're in grade 12 or grade 11, is to have a database filled with data and a text file that you're going to maybe want to interact with. Hopefully you've planned these ideas already, and we can discuss how we can save time by putting some information into them. So let's go have a look at an example. So we're going to start off with the database. Here I've got my idea of a database. The key step to getting data in your database is you must first have planned your database. You need to know what your database is going to look like and probably have created it already. In my plan for this scenario, I've got a table called TBL employees where we're going to store a surname. We're going to allow about 30 characters for a first name, a username, which is going to be our primary key, our password for when they log in, department, which could be sales, manager, or tech. I'm going to create a company code, which is going to be a 4-character code where the first two are letters, probably capital letters, and the last two are going to be numbers. So some sort of unique company code, which I could technically use as a primary key. I just want to show you how we could create that as well. And then the salary of the employee, we'll say it's in the range of 20 to 60,000. And then type, which would be either an admin or an employee. So we want to think about our tables, design them, think about what fields we're going to need, what their data types are going to be. Once you've done that step, now you need to create your database. I've done that already. You would have created your database and you would have gone and created your table, probably using table design. And here you can see I've got my table over here exactly like we originally planned. If you come here to the design view, you can see all the fields are as we had planned. Please take note that I have set my username as a primary key. And now we want to get stuck into filling this with data. The more data you have, the more you can test out your program, the better your program will run. So we could spend a lot of time actually trying to type this out. And to save time, what we're going to do is we're going to use AI to create or generate that data for us. In the rubric, it's just giving you marks that you've got suitable amount of data. It doesn't ask how you got it. You can check with your teacher if they will allow you just to use the AI to create the data. I think it's fine. I think it's a good use of AI. So let's see how we would do that. So I'm going to use ChatGPT for this. Now, the key to using AI correctly is to use good prompts, be very descriptive about what you are looking for, and rather over-explain things so that ChatGPT knows exactly what type of data you want it to create. So I'm going to start by creating my prompt. So I'm going to start off by writing down what exactly I want. I want at least 35 records for a database table about employees at a company. Be descriptive about what it is we'll be looking for. And I'm going to now mention which fields I wanted to create. I'm also going to give it details about those fields. I want to describe exactly the type of data I'm looking for. And the more descriptive you are, the better ChatGPT is going to be able to generate that data for you. So I'm not going to press enter. I'm going to press shift enter so that I go into a new line. And now we're going to type in the names of my fields. So now I've listed my fields. I haven't written them exactly like they are in the database. I want ChatGPT to be able to recognize them. So I said first space name and company space code, but that's not all. I need to be descriptive in what I want for those fields. So next to each field, I'm going to specify exactly what it is that I want. So I've written down my descriptions. Our surnames must be random surnames for South African people. First names must be random first names for South African people. The username, remember, because that's my primary key, I'm going to mention that I want a unique username. And I've just given it an idea. Say use the surname followed by a full stop followed by the first name. I think that'll be a nice username idea. Password, any 8-character password for the user. Let's say 8 or more. So it can create a variety of options. Department, one of the following options, because we said our department's only sales, manager, or tech. So I'm going to say only one of the following options only, so it'll choose between those three. The company code, like we said, a unique 4-character code. First 2 characters are capital letters, last 2 are just digits. Let's type that correct. Last characters are digits. And if I scroll down, the salary must be between 20,000 and 60,000. And the type, we want either an A for admin or an E for employee. But I don't want too many admin records. So I said maybe only 2 of the managers into admins. The rest can be employees. What I'm also going to do here, just add another bit of detail here, just to make sure that I get it in the format that I want. Probably over here, after we described about the employees of a company, I'm going to come over here and say in a table format. just so that I can copy it easily and paste it into the other packages to be able to manipulate the data. So I think that's also something you must be aware of, mentioned in table format. So let's go see what it generates if I click OK. So there we can see our data. It's actually made it into a nice table format. We can see the surnames, the first names. I'm happy with that. There's some nice unique usernames, which did take the first name and the surname as an idea. Gave me some nice passwords. There's definitely sales, tech, or managers options. And we can see that there is a couple of admins over there. There's an admin. There's another admin, which are the managers. The company code looks all good. I like that. And then obviously there's salaries. So there are two ways we can probably get this data. The one way, if you scroll down here, you can see they've asked us, do you want to format into an Excel CSV file, for example? So I can give it that instruction, say, please provide CSV file. So I'll ask you to please provide the CSV file for Excel. So it's basically going to generate that so long. And while it's doing that, the other option is if you come over here, you can see we can copy all of this table, which I can do. And then if I go here to, for example, in Excel, I can then paste the data. Then I've got the data all lined up. I'm going to make it a bit bigger so we can see all the records. And then what you can do is you can then take this data and copy and paste it into your actual database. Now, the little trick about that, I don't need the headers. So I've got the headers. So I'm going to delete that row. And the key thing is to always start first with your primary key. If you remember correctly, my username was my primary key. So I'm going to start with that. So we would come over here to the username, which are these records. I'm going to copy all of these, all 35 of them. And I'm going to copy them. And I'm going to come over here, right click and paste. And there it says, are you sure you want to paste 35 records? Yes, I do. And then we can go and do the other one. So for example, I can come over here, I can actually just select the column and just copy that and put in the surnames and the first names. And technically do that with all the other records. I'm actually going to select all of those, like just in one go. I'm going to copy it. Let's see if we can paste it all together in one go. So if I come here to password and select all of them and right click and paste. There we go. We can paste them all in one go like that as well. So there I've got my table full of 35 records. And it didn't give me any hassles if I save it. That means my usernames are all unique, which I'm happy about. And so here is my data. If we went back over here, you would have seen that there's a file that it generated over here, which we can download. I need to tell it to generate the downloadable file. So there's my file. I can download it. And there's my details. If I double click on it, you can see here's the CSV file with all the employees. So what you could have done, if you did it this way, the other option is in your table over here, you could have come here to external data and I could come here and actually download. Now you could think it's an Excel file, but technically a CSV file is more like a text file. So let's go to text file and see if that option is available. And I'm going to just go select it quickly. And so we were able to find it using the text file option. You wouldn't be able to do that if you were going to get it from Excel file source because it's technically a text file and we want to import it into a brand new table. And if I just do that and follow the steps, this is delimited by a character, which is a comma, and you can see what the data is. The first row contains headings, and you could have gone through this wizard and then going through each and every individual field, making sure that it's the right data type and so on. And our primary key, we would have said, let's make it the username. And then gone next, and then given our table a name. So I'm going to call this employees version 2 because we've already got a TBL employees. But if we did that and go finish and close, we can see that we have all of those details over there and we can go play around with it and change their formats over here. So those will probably be the two options that you can use to get that data for your tables. Now, if you've got a relationship in your table, let's say I've got another table called TBL tasks, where we've got the task ID, which is just a number, a request bar, which would be one of those usernames, because that's the key bit. We have a relationship where each user will select a task. The username will be listed in the request bar and the start date and end date. So let's see how we use date. But the key to this is we want the request bar field to be usernames that are in the employees table. So by using this same conversation, we're going to ask it to create another table. So for my prompt, I asked for 25 records this time for task at a company in a table format with the following details. I asked for a task ID, a unique number for the task. I mentioned that it's the primary key field. I said request bar. Now here's the little trick. I said username of the employees requesting this task, but these usernames must only be the usernames that are listed in the employees table or username field above, because I only wanted to use these usernames so that when I do that relationship, it can actually match the relationship of this user with that task. And then I said my start and end date. I did mention that the start dates must be in a particular year. I mentioned the format, and for the end date, I said same format, but obviously our end date must be later than the start date. And I said sometimes the task is incomplete, so therefore we can have some blank date. Let's see what it generates. So there we go. I can already see that I've got usernames that I've seen in the previous table. We can copy this and paste it into a spreadsheet. I'm going to delete the first row. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these fields and then come to my tasks table. And over here, I'm just going to select them and paste them. Let's see what it does. Yes, and there we go. It liked the date. It's in the right format for it. Everything looks spot on. You would probably need to just go through it just to make sure that it is correct, that these are usernames that are in your employees table. Just double check that the dates line up nicely for what you want it to do. Make sure there's no anomalies. That's the key with AI. Whenever you use it, always do a little double check. Make sure that the data is correct. Make sure there's no errors. Don't just let it replace you. That's how I've generated my data quite quickly for my database tables. Now we can do something similar in Excel to generate data that we would use, for example, for a text file, maybe a comma separated text file. So if I scroll down here, we can see, let's say we've got a surname, name, and we've got an age and a department over here. Let's say this is going to be my text file. I want to generate that, and I'm going to show you how you can do that using Excel and AI. So to generate the names, you could use AI again to generate your names if you want to, and just put them into a spreadsheet. If your teacher doesn't want you to use AI, you can just search for a random name list generator, and there's a whole bunch of options. I've gone to this one, cat on a mat option. If I come over here, you can see generate random names. You can specify if it's male and female, name and surname. So maybe for this, I'm just going to do the surnames first. So I'm just going to do surnames, and we can say we want to generate maybe 20 records that are just the surnames. And if I do that, you can see a whole list of surnames have created there. We can then copy this and we can just paste it into our table over there. So those are my surnames. Now we're going to come here and say we want just the names. So these are the names. I'm going to copy this, paste that into a new column over here. So I've got names and surnames. Now I want ages. So I'm going to use the random function in Excel, ran between, and I want the ages to be between 20 and 65. So those are my options, between 20 and 65. And then you can just copy that down. And now we want a department. Now here's a little trick for that. I'm going to actually over here generate a random 1, 2, or 3 number. So from 1 to 3, copy that down. So there you can see a whole bunch of 1s and 2s and 3s. And there's a couple of ways we can do that. If you've got a more recent version of Excel, you can use the switch function. And you can say equals switch, and we want to switch that particular value. And if it's a 1, then I want the text sales. If it's a 2, I want the text admin. And if it's a 3, I want the text tech. So basically I'm saying take that value in G1. If it's a 1, put sales. If it's a 2, put admin. If it's a 3, put tech. If I do that and I'll scroll that down, you can see that works. If you have a older version of Excel, then you can use the choose function. Choose, and we're going to say choose this value, and then you just say what, if it's a 1, do this, if it's a 2, do this. So there it's going to say sales, if it's a 1 option. The second option would be if it'll be admin, and the third option will be tech. So that's probably the easier one. That's why I'm using numbers. So if I do that, you can see if it's a 3, it's tech. If I copy that all down, then we've got our options over there, and obviously it's going to keep changing because it's random. Now I want to put this in a text file. So what I'm going to use here is the text join function, where I can say what the delimiter is. In this case, I want the delimiter to be a comma. That means I want a comma between everything. And then I'm going to go comma, and then ignore empty cells. No, we don't have to worry too much about that. And then after that, I'm saying which fields. I'm going to go, I want all of those fields there for this row. If I do that, it creates basically surname, comma, first name, comma, age. And then if I drag that down, I've got all my values, and I'm going to copy that and then paste that into my text file and then save that. There, I've got a nice little text file to do that. So just to recap, just generate your random names and surnames. If you need ages and stuff like that, you can do a random between 20 and 65, for example. I created a random 1, 2, and 3 as a code for if it's going to be a sales, admin, or tech person. And then I use the text join. And then I use the choose function to make sure that the first option is sales and so on. You can do that with lots of category type fields. If you're doing dates, I would generate random numbers for the day say for the month and the year. So your year would be between 2025 and 2026. Your months would be between 1 and 12. Your days, I would go between 1 and 28, just to make sure that it's a valid date. So you could do something like that and then join them with slashes in between to create dates. And then I use the text join to say, join all of these together, please, with a comma in between all of them. And then I just copy and pasted this into my text file. And now I've got a comma separated text file with data that I can use. Very quick and easy. If you can just imagine how long it's going to take me to type all of this out, I'll just use Excel quickly to generate that. You could have also done it over here. And so my prompt is generate a downloadable text file with 25 lines of data in the following, let's correct that to format, and say with each line separated by a comma. Just make sure your grammar is nice and correct. So generate a downloadable text file with 25 lines of data in the following format with each line separated by a comma. So we want the surname, the name, the age, specify what the ages must be, and the department. Let's see what it does. So there is the file. If I just click on it, you can see it's downloaded the text file. If I open it, there is my data. So I'll have to edit this a little bit to put it all together. So I'm going to actually just do that a little bit just to make sure that the data is all on new lines. So there might be some tweaking that you need to do. So there we go. I've created my text file line there. So that's how I would generate the data using AI or Excel to get data into your text files or to your database. As I said, just work smart, not hard. That's a nice area where you can use AI to save time, because all they really want is that you've got suitable data and enough data. So you want lots of records and you want it to be of a good format. The key to this is you can't actually do any of this unless you have two things. One, you've planned what your data is going to look like. So from your phase one, have you designed your tables? Have you thought about what the fields are, what's going to be in them? You can't ask AI to create the data if you don't know what the data is supposed to look like. So make sure that you've really thought about your tables. We've got videos with examples and how to set that up. And then the same with the text file. Do you know what your text file is going to look like and what the data is going to look like? Once you know that, then the second step is when you're using AI to make sure that you are using good prompts where you explain exactly what you want, give full details about what the fields must look like, be as descriptive as possible. The more information you give AI, the more it can give you what you are looking for. And then don't forget afterwards to have a look at that data that it generates and just tweak, make changes, fix anything that's not correct. Don't just take everything as face value. Okay, so hopefully that's been helpful for you to generate your data. Hopefully it'll save you a bit of time. So go do that if you need data for your database or your text file, and good luck with your PAT, everyone. IT tips, make sure that you check out the playlist on our YouTube channel at Mr. Long IT and Cat. You'll find lots of help there. And remember, all other videos on Delphi are on that channel as well. And remember, don't do it the long way, do it the Mr. Long way.